Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are really immersing ourselves in the blueprints of Brandellio AI.
Right, the platform that's set up to be a kind of branding assistant for entrepreneurs.
Exactly. And you shared a fantastic stack of sources on its features, its vision, recent updates, the works. So our mission here is to cut through all the marketing speak.
And get to the strategic nuggets you really need to understand how this tool is, well, how it's trying to challenge that whole high-cost agency model.
And to do that, we have to start where Brandellio starts, with a really key distinction.
Branding versus marketing. It forces you to stop thinking of branding as just, a logo and some colors.
And nice to have visual.
Precisely. The platform is built on the idea that branding is your core strategic asset. If you get your identity wrong, your mission, your values, your promise, then your marketing just can't work.
Absolutely. Because if branding is WHO, you are that fundamental identity.
Then marketing is just the megaphone.
It's how you amplify that message. And if the message is, I don't know, inconsistent or just not there, you're just wasting energy and money amplifying confusion.
Which brings us right to the problem Brandellio is trying to solve.
Okay.
What's fascinating is that it's aimed at users who are missing two big things. One, high-level branding expertise, and two, the huge budget you'd need for traditional consulting.
So Brandellio steps in as that sort of personal AI brand consultant.
Yeah, giving you that rigorous step-by-step guidance. The goal isn't just to save you some cash, it's to stop that common startup trap of burning through seed funding on campaigns that are just, well, doomed from the start.
Because they lack a core identity.
Exactly.
Okay, let's unpack that value proposition, starting with the big picture. Brandellio AI, it didn't just launch as another app. It launched on October 24th, 2025, with a pretty foundational vision.
Democratizing access to strategic brand advice.
Yes. The founder, Mark Kervin-Tremaine, he put it so plainly. He said, every entrepreneur now has the opportunity to learn how to create a standout brand.
And that's a big statement. That's saying they want to level the playing field, not just, sell some software.
So how does the tech actually deliver on that promise?
Well, it really comes down to three strategic advantages. First is the AI-guided expertise. This isn't just a help section. It's designed to walk you through challenges that you'd normally have to pay a senior strategist to solve. It asks the right questions.
And second,
It's intensely personalized. The AI doesn't just hand you a generic template. It uses these conversational questionnaires to build a really detailed profile of your specific business, your industry, your audience, your goals.
so it's meant to feel like a bespoke recommendation engine.
Exactly. It's generating advice that actually fits your context. And the third piece, which is so crucial for startups, is efficiency.
Right. You're not juggling 5 different apps.
Not at all. You generate ideas, analyze your positioning, even start creating content, all inside one interface.
I have to push back a little on that, though, on the bespoke recommendation engine idea. Isn't the core risk of an AI assistant, especially for something as vital as brand identity, that it just gives you the average of what's already out there? How does Brandellio stop you from just becoming a very consistent, high-quality version of beige?
That's a critical question, and the answer really is in its holistic approach. Brandellio seems to know that just using AI to pick a logo color is, well, it's useless. The sources confirm it pushes you way beyond just the visual stuff. It forces you to define the entire ecosystem, your brand purpose, the emotional connection you want, the consistency of your customer experience, your core values.
So it's pushing you towards specificity.
Yes, differentiating you based on your purpose and reputation, not just your color palette. The brand isn't one thing, it's the sum of all those little decisions.
Which brings us to the just the sheer breadth of the platform.
Yeah.
We found sources talking about over 30 specialized processes.
That is a lot to take in.
It is. So we pulled out the major strategic themes. First, on the foundational level, you've got core branding and strategy.
These are the building blocks, things like the complete branding process, brand positioning strategy, all the tools to make sure you define the who before you worry about the how.
Right. And then you have visual identity and design. But it goes deeper than just standard stuff. It gets into things like visual, emotion, and color psychology.
Yeah, it's helping you understand the emotional levers you're pulling with a color palette, not just what looks pretty.
Now, this is where it starts to get really future-focused. In the marketing and customer experience processes, they've introduced something called generative engine optimization, GEO.
GEO.
That sounds like a major buzzword, and the sources were a little vague. It said, helping users get discovered and cited by AI systems. What does GEO mean in practical terms for an entrepreneur?
Okay, so think less about traditional SEO, optimizing for keywords.
Right.
Think more about semantic density. GEO is about structuring all your core brand data, your mission, your products, what makes you unique, so that when a huge AI model like a future search engine or a conversational assistant synthesizes an answer for a user.
Your company's the one that gets accurately cited.
Yes, and recommended. So if someone asks an AI, what's the best artisanal coffee for a remote worker in Portland? GEO is the process that ensures your company, let's call it the grind, is positioned and cited correctly as the authority.
So your brand isn't missed, or worse, misrepresented in that AI's answer.
Exactly. It's brand optimization for foundation models. It fits right alongside things like digital customer experience and brand communication strategy.
And then we get into the advanced and specialized categories, and you see the real diversity here. You have niche areas like musician and artist branding, emotional brand storytelling.
Targeting creative entrepreneurs, yeah.
But then we hit these oddities. Internal operational things like stress management strategy and financial planning and budget.
Okay, I have to pause on that. I mean, is Brandellio trying to solve too many problems here? Is it blurring its own brand identity? Why does a branding tool care about my stress levels?
It's a fair challenge.
Yeah.
But if you link it back to our core theme consistency,
Right.
it starts to make a kind of strategic sense. Well, brand inconsistency often starts internally, right? An entrepreneur whose finances are a mess or who's completely burned out can't possibly maintain a consistent external brand promise.
That's a good point.
It seems like Brandellio recognizes that internal health is foundational to external brand performance. They're making sure the brand manager, the entrepreneur, is stable enough to actually execute the strategy.
That reframing works. It's about building a robust system, not just a flashy facade.
So the sheer number of tools is impressive.
Yeah.
But for entrepreneurs who are strapped for time, efficiency is everything.
Uh-huh.
So are these tools easy to use? Which brings us to the recent updates in version 2.1.0.
Right. So version 2.1.0 brought in the dynamic toolbar, which is a nice little workflow refinement. But from a strategic perspective, the new guided process for viral content strategy is the big deal.
A roadmap for the modern age.
Totally. It walks you through performance analysis, identifying trends, content ideas, and then strategic distribution. It really takes the guesswork out of trying to create highly shareable stories.
That's critical for amplifying your brand. But maybe the most insightful update, especially for users who are really trying to solidify their brand foundation, has to be the new brand health timeline.
Oh, absolutely. This is where the platform gives you that crucial feedback. It transforms that huge, daunting task of foundational branding into a measurable project.
Okay, so break it down for us. What is this timeline, and how does it actually quantify brand health?
It's a visual progress bar right there on your dashboard that shows your brand's profile completion percentage. And it's not just tracking if you filled in a box, it's tracking the completion of 25 key strategic fields from your brand information page.
Things like your mission statement, your target audience, your final color palette.
Exactly. And the calculation is what makes it actionable. It assigns status levels. Excellent is 80% or higher, and that's green.
Okay.
Good is 50 to 79%, that's orange. And fair is 25 to 49%, which shows up as red.
That's a great way to gamify the foundational work. But what are the implications? If I'm stuck at 40% in that red zone, what is Brandellio actually withholding from me? How does a partial identity lead to worse output?
That's the strategic penalty. Being in the red zone means the AI's effectiveness is degraded. Its power comes from the completeness of your data.
So if my target audience isn't defined properly,
The platform can't give you smart, personalized advice. If your mission is incomplete, the content it generates for, say, your viral content strategy or your brand communication, it's all going to be more generalized, less accurate.
so a more complete profile equals smarter advice.
Smarter advice, personalized content that's actually aligned with your identity, and smarter process guidance overall. The timeline creates that essential feedback loop for consistent brand building. It forces you to do the hard work first.
Before we wrap this up, we have to talk about the 5 Brandellio plans.
Yeah.
Because the sources pointed to a strange quirk in the pricing, a strategic paradox, really.
Yes. The plan progression, it seems counterintuitive when you first look at it.
So let's start with the free plan. It gives you foundational access, but interestingly, it includes some of the more niche, fun tools right out of the gate. Musician and artist branding, emotional brand storytelling, even crisis management.
Right.
But here's the paradox. The moment you upgrade and pay for the basic plan, which is focused purely on core branding, those creative tools disappear. They're removed.
Mhm.
Why would you take away attractive features the second someone commits?
This is the underlying business strategy we have to highlight. The free plan is a showcase. It's hooking you with the AI's advanced capabilities and the platform's breadth. But the basic plan is designed to force you to do the unsexy foundational work.
Positioning, audience definition.
All of that. Then, if you realize you need both the foundation and the higher-end creative and marketing tools, you're strategically forced into the higher tiers.
So it's an upsell pathway.
It is. The Pro Plan is the first step up, bringing back things like musician and artist branding and marketing strategy development.
Then you have the business plan, which is the big comprehensive suite.
Yeah.
It brings back even more, like emotional brand storytelling, advanced brand research, crisis management,
That's for your established businesses needing robust, high-frequency strategy.
and finally the max plan.
The top tier. Access to everything, all features, and the sources confirm if you're what they call a gold tier user, this is the plan that applies to you, the complete, unrestricted toolbox.
So we've covered the vision, the 30-plus processes, including GEO, that critical brand health timeline, and the strategy behind the pricing. What's the final synthesis here for an entrepreneur looking at Brandellio?
I think the final takeaway is that Brandellio's is designed to instill discipline. It's not just about the one-time definition of your brand. It's focused on continuous learning and iteration.
Right?
By using AI to constantly gather data and refine strategy, especially by pushing you to get to that green status, it helps you stay rigorously consistent. It helps you avoid that trial and error marketing.
That continuous refinement and consistency. That really is the key. And if the platform's mission is to help you define and maintain your brand identity, we should look at how Brandellio itself suggests communicating its own value.
That's a great point.
The sources outline 3 key channels for them: email marketing, targeted advertising, and using content marketing to educate people about branding. So here's something for you to chew on. If your goal as a new entrepreneur using a tool like this for the first time is to establish immediate brand trust and credibility, which of those channels, email, targeted ads, or educational content, which is the most crucial for achieving that fundamental trust? Something to think about as you define your own highly consistent brand identity. Thanks for joining us for the deep dive.